have fun being a slave to the Fiat Ponzi. Because if you measure Bitcoin in a debasing fiat currency, it's going higher. Bitcoin is 100% limited. Mathematics will prove that fiat debasement is 100% certain. If you understand math and you understand probabilities, don't miss this opportunity to participate in the greatest asymmetric upside return opportunity in a store of value asset that I've ever seen in my life, okay?
GregFoss, a seasoned Wall Street professional, discusses topics encompassing fiat currencies, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, and the impending comprehensive financial downturn. He expressed the concept of being tied to the Fiat Ponzi system, explaining that evaluating Bitcoin's value using a depreciating fiat currency. The current state of global fiat currencies is marked by uncertainty. The U.S. financial sector is experiencing turmoil caused by recurring banking collapses, leading to a decline in the dollar's standing. China's central bank intensifies intervention efforts as the yuan reaches its lowest value against the U.S. dollar in 16 years. Lynette Zang, chief market analyst for ITM Trading, is a firm believer that de-dollarization, the movement wherein countries aim to reduce their reliance on the U.S. dollar as the dominant global currency. In his tweet, GregFoss emphasized that fiat debasement is 100% certainty. During interview, Foss also highlighted the significance of embracing cryptocurrencies. With diminishing trust in devalued dollars and euros, could decentralized digital currencies present a viable solution? Foss stated that fiat currency operates on a foundation of trust, essentially functioning as a ledger that is gradually depreciating in value. Some experts believe that fiat currencies will eventually be replaced by cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin. However, others believe that fiat currencies will remain the dominant form of money for the foreseeable future. Let's direct our attention towards video.
There was a famous French philosopher, his name was Voltaire. He says that all fiat currencies eventually return to the intrinsic value of the paper it's written on. I will take issue with him. Very smart guy. This was around the 1600s or something. But he was wrong. It actually goes below the intrinsic value because it's not even worth the paper. What is fiat? There was a time up until 1971 where fiat was actually backed by something with intrinsic value called gold. And then in 1971, President Nixon of the United States took the United States off the gold standard. So now this fiat is backed by trust. Trust me, bro. Trust me that this is worth 20 units of something. In Canada, we call them dollars. I think in the US, I know in the USA, they call them dollars. I think it's Aussie dollars as well. I'm not positive. But in Great Britain, they call them pounds. In lots of countries, they call them pesos or, fractions of pounds sterling or francs or whatever. Guys, don't overestimate. It's a ledger. It's a ledger that is losing value because you can print as many of these stupid things as you want. In theory, seashells are at least limited. Seashells of a certain kind are limited.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is 100% limited, protected by mathematics and code. But why did gold attain a value as a ledger? Because gold is scarce. Not programmably scarce, but the reality is there's hundreds of tons and thousands of tons of gold in seawater. There will be a price of gold, which it makes sense to mine the gold out of seawater. But at current prices, the growth rate of gold is about 2% annually, which is almost a definition of it being somewhat scarce. Bitcoin's even better than gold. And don't confuse a fiat currency, which is a ledger, with a store of value, which is a savings mechanism. They can both exist. They can both coexist. But please don't confuse the use cases for either one.
Approval of a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund in the U.S. is one of the most widely anticipated and delayed events in the roughly 3-decade history of the ETF industry. Tom Lee of Fundstrat foresees a potential surge in Bitcoin's value, particularly if the U.S. approves spot Bitcoin ETFs, hinting at prices exceeding $150,000. Mark Yesko predicts Bitcoin to surpass $100,000 within a year if SEC approve the Bitcoin ETF. In the interview, Foss pointed out that despite potential worries surrounding the BlackRock ETF, owning your private keys and having ownership of the most robust asset ever conceived, Bitcoin, aligns with sound reasoning based on mathematics. He said when you measure Bitcoin against a depreciating fiat currency, its value rises because the unit of account is diminishing.
In a short, I'm very bullish, and I don't believe the FUD actually reflective of the true risk. That being said, I'm never 100% certain about anything, except I'm going to get to my punchline in the first 2 minutes of our podcast. The only thing I'm 100% certain of is fiat debasement. Everything that I do in life is about mathematics and probabilities, expected value. You said billions of dollars of bonds. That's a flattering intro, but here's the truth. A good day, I would trade $1 billion. Okay, like on one day, I would do that. Not that I traded billions of dollars of treasuries. That's easy to trade $1 billion treasuries. But trading $1 billion of some esoteric credit instruments, that's more difficult. And you got to be right in the meat and potatoes of the financial markets to do that. I didn't do it on a regular basis, but I could certainly think about 4 or 5 days in my career that I traded over $1 billion of esoteric credit instruments. You need to understand, people, there is no certainty in financial markets, except, again, mathematics will prove that fiat debasement is 100% certain. And you can't argue with math, okay? Math is the base layer of language. It is 100% certain that fiat will continue to debase because of the debt spiral that we are in globally, not just individual countries. This is a global fiat phenomenon. I can worry a little bit about the BlackRock ETF, and I could be like, all scared. Don't overthink things. There are potential problems with the BlackRock ETF, but if you hodl your own keys and you own the hardest asset ever introduced to mankind called Bitcoin, the math is on your side. Because if you measure Bitcoin in a debasing fiat currency, it's going higher because the unit of account is going lower. I don't know how to say it any more simply, you knuckleheads. You're not making money on your house, okay? Absolutely not making money on the value of your house. The value of a roof over your head has never changed, one iota. What has changed is the unit of account that measures the value of that account, that house. Okay? Understand math. Mathematics. Not FUD, not, oh my God, BlackRock's going to attack the hardest asset. Why would BlackRock attack the hardest asset? To destroy any value that it creates for itself? But it is not an attack vector that is planned. I need people to play probability analysis. Understand that it's a distribution of outcomes where you have tail risks on both ends.
In the current financial landscape, coupled with recurrent banking collapses in the U.S., the value of the dollar has seen a decline. Experts hold the belief that the era of fiat currency sustainability is diminishing. Amidst this backdrop, Bitcoin is witnessing an increase in value. The focus of attention is on the approval of Bitcoin ETF, as there's a widespread belief that if the SEC grants approval, it could potentially trigger a significant surge in the price of Bitcoin. That wraps up our conversation for today. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this information valuable, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel to stay informed with the latest news and videos. Thanks for joining us.